بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد.
Okay, so we are now at ayah number 102 in Surah al-Kahf. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. أفحسب الذين كفروا أن يتخذوا عبادي من دوني أولياء. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is our wali. We said this before. Wali means protector, provider, guide. This word has many meanings. Now normally when somebody comes to you and he says to you, I want to be your protector and I will want to take care of your needs and I will provide for you and take care of your problems. You might say to that person, I'm just giving an example, no thank you. I don't want your protection. So that person will say, fine, that's less work for me. I will not get upset. Why would I care? You don't want my protection. Why would I care? Now, lillahi al-mathalul a'la, this is not the way with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah gets upset if you choose someone else as your protector and not him. So this is the thing here in Surah al-Kahf. Allah is telling us those kuffar, and kafir does not only mean a disbeliever, it means someone who is ungrateful. So Allah created you, Allah provided you with everything you want, everything you need, and then you go to someone else for protection. This is bad manners. This is He created you, and there is a beautiful hadith Qudsi when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks in the hadith and he says, Ana wal-insu wal-jinnu fi naba'in azim. Allah is speaking, and the ins, the humans and the jinn, there is a great matter, a great problem between us. أخلق ويعبد سواي. I create and they worship somebody else. I give them, I provide for them, and they thank somebody else. So subhanallah, and the hadith, by the way, is long. It's a beautiful hadith. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, whenever the one of them comes to me for forgiveness, I'll be happy to forgive him, no matter how bad he could be. There is no limit to the forgiveness of Allah. But it's amazing how you think about it. He provides for us, He created us, and we go thank somebody else and we go worship somebody else. So that's obviously will make Him angry. So this ayah number 102, أَفَحَسِبَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا أَن يَتَّخِذُوا عِبَادِي مِن دُونِي أَوْلِيَاءَ. Did the kuffar think that they will choose someone else other than me, Allah is saying, to be their wali, protector and provider? And now Allah does not say what will happen to them, because it's obvious they will be punished. And this protector whom you have chosen cannot protect himself. Right? The protector that you want to protect you cannot protect himself. And we said people used to go to this grave, of one supposed to be wali, we call him wali, Allahu a'lam. And by the way, calling a person a wali, and Wali of Allah means someone who's so close to Allah. Allah says, أَلَا إِنَّ أَوْلِيَاءَ اللَّهِ لَا خَوْفٌ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا هُمْ يَحْزَنُونَ. Those people whom Allah have chosen to be their wali, His wali, no fear should be upon them. Because Allah is their wali. Allah is the protector, provider. That's one of the high levels, the wali, to get to wali. But this is not something that we can give people or announce, I am wali from now on, please address me as such. And if you want me to bless you, please come. There is, of course, a price. I don't bless for free. I have a list. How much blessing you want? You want a blessing for a couple of days? That's less cheaper than blessing of a whole month, So, anyway, some people do that, and Allah al-Musta'an, yani. And I can't believe, huge amount of people believe in these walis and peers and whatever you call them. And they go to them and they ask for their blessings and they feel like, oh my God, he touched me. I mean, I can touch you if you give me money.
Okay, what about those people that they say, I don't believe in anything? In reality, they are actually praying for indirectly, they are with the shaitan, isn't it?
I don't believe in anything. That's the shaitan's work, yes. That's the atheism and saying that there is no God. Or of course, they will be surprised on the day of judgment and it will be too late to do anything. At that time, they will believe. At that time, when they look at hellfire and they see it with their own eyes in front of them, they will believe. But that's not going to help them anymore. It's all from the shaitan. This atheism whole thing, by the way, is a new concept. Maybe 100, 200 years ago, when somebody thought about it. Before, the worst of the worst, they believed in Allah and they gave him partners. But for someone to say, I don't believe in anything, that's a new fashion. That's not something that people in the past ever thought about. So alhamdulillah, we are getting worse as time goes. So Allah is saying, did they think that those people whom they have chosen to take someone else other than Allah to be their protector, that they will go unpunished? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will show them that the one you chose to be your protector cannot protect himself. Always the case. I don't know if you saw the video in Dubai, because now Dubai, لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله, they have temples for the Hindus there. Yeah. And I believe the second biggest temple in the world for Hinduism is in Dubai. The biggest one is in India, obviously. The second one is in Dubai, which is very sad, supposed to be a Muslim country.
Yeah.
But I saw pictures and the videos after the recent flood. Most of these supposed to be gods, they were all drowning in the flood. What kind of God does not know how to swim? Maybe they're not wearing their bathing suit, that's why. So how can you expect protection from something like that? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shows them these things, but they still, subhanallah, there is no point. إِنَّا أَعْتَدْنَا جَهَنَّمَ لِلْكَافِرِينَ نُزُلًا. And this is a very powerful part of the ayah. We have prepared. Now when we say, I prepared something for you, the preparation will be according to my ability, right? Let's say I am having a visitor coming from Lala Musa, and he speaks Punjabi. Yeah. So let's say a visitor is coming from far away, and I said to this visitor, I have prepared a surprise for you. Now he will think, according to my ability, what is this surprise going to be? Maybe a small gift, maybe a plate of biryani. Well, he's coming from Lala Musa, he probably does not want biryani. But I will give him something according to my ability. Now, what if the governor of Texas said to that person, I have prepared a surprise for you? It's going to be at a larger scale, because his ability is more than mine. What if the president of the United States said to that person who's coming from Lala Musa, I have prepared a surprise for you? He will think of, like, Lamborghini. Exactly, a Lamborghini. What if the creator of the heaven and the earth said, I have prepared a surprise for you? Now that's not something we can imagine, because Allah's ability is beyond our imagination. The only thing is, this can go both ways. This surprise can be a good surprise or a bad surprise. So here Allah is saying, أَعْتَدْنَا جَهَنَّمْ لِلْكَافِرِينَ نُزُلًا. I have prepared Jahannam. Allah is the one. He did not say, I just created Jahannam. I prepared Jahannam. There is a big difference between the two. When you say, I made something, or I prepared something, Allah himself is the one who prepared Jahannam. For the kafirin to be their nuzula. What is nuzula? Now this is being sarcastic. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, a lot of times he treats the kuffar with this sarcastic approach. Nuzul is a hotel. In Arabic, the word nuzul means hotel. Not any hotel. This is the fancy hotel. Everything is taken care of, and you plan to stay there for a while. That's what we call nuzul in Arabic. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, I prepared Jahannam to be the hotel, meaning a very long stay, and everything is taken care of in terms of punishment. So it's terrifying. If you think about it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, his limitless ability, prepared Jahannam to be the place of stay, and all kinds of punishment is already there prepared. Because in the hotel you don't need anything, right? You get to your room and everything is taken care of. In the sarcastic way, everything has been prepared for them in hellfire. So this is a terrifying ayah. All this is for those who take someone other than Allah to be their protector. And that can be Muslim, unfortunately, today. There are so many Muslims who think that so-and-so can protect me. This ayah will remind us with the story of the two friends we mentioned earlier, the one who had the two gardens and the other one who did not, the one who said, nothing can happen to my gardens. Why? Because أنا أكثر منك مالا وأعز نفرا. I have a lot of money and a big family. These things will protect me from anything. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destroyed his gardens into a way that it cannot be revived even, it cannot be brought back to life in any possible way, he realized. So this is an example for those who take someone else other than Allah to be their protector. قُلْ هَلْ نُنَبِّئُكُمْ بِالْأَخْسَرِينَ أَعْمَالًا. Now these ayat, I mentioned about a little bit about them in the Guidance to Mankind WhatsApp group. They are very important for us to know. Extremely important and extremely scary too. Say, should I tell you about those who are the worst or the most epic, if you want to say, the highest level of being losers in deeds? So Allah's talking about people. First, a'mala means they have done something. We're not talking about someone who didn't do anything. We're talking about someone who did something. So at 103, Allah is telling us, let me tell you, and this, by the way, this approach is to get your attention. Before I tell you something important, I make this statement. Do you want me to tell you something really, really important? So I get your attention now. And because it is very important. So هَلْ نُنَبِّئُكُمْ بِالْأَخْسَرِينَ أَعْمَالًا. Do you want me to tell you those who have done a lot of work? أعمالا, not one, a lot, that's plural. And they are the most worst of losers. So somebody worked hard in this life and he's a big loser. And this is terrible because somebody can enjoy their lives and go to hellfire, but at least he enjoyed something. Yani maybe a little bit enjoyment in this life as much as it can be enjoyed. Because by the way, even those who chose the dunya and they neglected the akhirah, they don't care about akhirah, they only want to be happy in this dunya. They will get some happiness, but it's still limited. They still get sick. They still sleep. They still get sad. They still get depressed. They still want a Lamborghini. No, maybe they do. So anyway, the highest level of happiness in the dunya still has problems with it. There's no perfection. But at least when they go to hellfire in the akhirah, they say, well, we got a little happiness, right? Now imagine somebody who dedicated his life to something and then he realized on the day of judgment that he was wrong. He's done a lot of sacrifices. He worked so hard just to find out on the day of judgment that this all was in vain. That's the worst that can happen to anyone. Because if you compare this to somebody else who does not care, I just want to enjoy my life. Enjoy your life and then you pay the price. But somebody who worked hard in the dunya and got nothing in the akhirah, that's a terrible thing. This is ayah number 104. الَّذِينَ ضَلَّ سَعْيُهُمْ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. Sa'i, this word sa'i means seeking, someone who's actively seeking something, someone who's been working so hard, running after his goal, his purpose in this dunya. No, sa'i between Safa and Marwa, we call that sa'i, because you're seeking something between Safa and Marwa. So those people, they are seeking something. They have decided on a purpose. They have decided on a goal, and they worked so hard in the dunya, thinking that they are doing good. وَهُمْ يَحْسَبُونَ أَنَّهُمْ يُحْسِنُونَ صُنْعًا. They think this hard work is really what pleases God. Someone who has dedicated his life and probably his health and his money and his time for a false belief. That is the worst. Because he will come on the day of judgment and he will be surprised. Everything I have done, I didn't even enjoy the life, and I will have nothing in the akhirah. For those who did not see the video, which I made, I will just mention this quickly. This is where the Shia, we're talking about how the Shia started. Those who are not a part of Guidance to Mankind group, I suggest that you become a part of it, inshallah. Because we said the beginning of Shia was Abdullah ibn Saba, this bad guy, who said Ali is Allah. Astaghfirullah. And people believed him. And the word started spreading. When Ali himself, radiallahu anhu, heard this, he gathered them and he made a ditch in the ground and he turned it on fire. And he said, whoever says, I am Allah, I'll throw him in the fire. A good number of them said, oh my God, you control hellfire too? That means you're God for sure. And they jumped in the fire willingly. So you say such dedication, they gave up their lives because they believe that Ali is really God. Now, how will these people be resurrected on the day of judgment to go to actual hellfire after being thrown in the fire of the dunya? When you choose any purpose, any goal in your life, you have to be careful and you have to choose it based on knowledge. Not because so-and-so told me. Those people, nobody forced them to do this. They made that decision. It's a terrible decision. And that tells us those people today who are Hindus or Christians or Jews or whatever they do, and they are very dedicated to their belief, you have to know for sure they did not choose this dedication out of knowledge. That was, wa alaikum salam, based on either somebody else told them and they just believed, or they were following their forefathers. But the reason why this ayah is terrifying is when you think about those people who have this dedicated all their lives and everything in their life for one purpose or one goal or one concept, they thought that this is the right thing, just to find out in the akhirah that actually what's waiting for them is worse, hellfire. And I said before, again in the same video, how do I know today that I, as a Muslim, trying to please Allah, and I have chosen this goal and that purpose, and I have dedicated my life for this? How do I know, wa alaikum salam, that this is the right purpose? How do I know that I will not be surprised on the day of judgment and then, oh my God, I have been doing wrong all this life and there is no second chance? And we said the answer, first of all, you have to get the knowledge. Those people who chose other purposes or they chose other gods or whatever they chose to dedicate their lives to, they did not do any research. They chose the easier way. You tell me this is good, okay, I'm doing it and I'm giving it all. The most precious thing I have is my life. But that is a risk they took, nobody told them to do. That reminds me, one brother, his insurance company told him, by the way, this is a true story, in Houston. No, New York, I think. Maybe Sister Khadija knows him. Sister Khadija knows everybody in New York, I think. This brother, his insurance company told him that there is some kind of operation. It's, we call it elective, which means it's not important. This operation can lower your blood cholesterol. It's in the neck. They have to operate on the spinal cord. And the insurance company will cover it 100%. The brother is healthy and happy, and he has no problem, no health issue. So that company convinced him, and this is again, do not do something without research. Do not throw your life away after false dedication or false belief or false purpose. Get your knowledge from the source, because these things can happen to Muslims. A Muslim can come on the day of judgment and realize that this peer is the reason why he's going to go to hellfire. Going to graves and asking dead people for help is why he's going to go to hellfire. This can happen to Muslims. There are some Muslims today who will argue with me. Actually, one Muslim in my family called me a kafir. And that happened recently. He called me a kafir because I said all these things are false beliefs. Going to graves, asking dead people for help, or asking Allah for help by the name of someone who died. You can't do any of this. This is not the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. So there are some Muslims today who are so dedicated to this. It's not strange. This ayah, some people think ayah number 104 is only talking about the non-believers. This is talking about Muslims. A lot of Muslims, they have a lot of dedication for a false belief. So this brother, subhanAllah, because the insurance company told him it's free, go get the operation done. He doesn't need it. He's okay. After they injured his spinal cord, and he got himself into paralysis for no reason. Why? Subhanallah. You were okay and happy. Why do you want to do something just because it's free? The point here, ayah number 104, الذين ضل سعيهم في الحياة الدنيا وهم يحسبون أنهم يحسنون صنعا. It's why it is a terrifying ayah, because many people really, you talk to them and they show you that they are very confident in what they're doing. And they're like, they actually make you feel like, what's wrong with you? Like, are you serious? How can you not see that we are right and you are wrong? And then on the day of judgment, they will be surprised. How do I know that I'm doing the right thing? How do I know that I am not one of those people who have dedicated their lives to a false belief? Go back to the source. The Prophet ﷺ's hadith. Hold on to the Quran and the Sunnah. You will never lose your way. But he never said anything else other than these two things. Quran and Sunnah. The book of Allah and my Sunnah. So when we go back to the source, we know, inshallah, for sure we cannot be misled. But when you go anywhere else, you will be misled. And by the way, the word sun'a, sina'a, means manufacture, something that's complicated. Those people have really worked hard. They have really worked hard to achieve a goal in the dunya, follow a dream or a purpose, thinking that this is the right thing, just to be surprised on the day of judgment that everything you have done. And now another thing, by the way, somebody might say, but those people gave up their lives, like for Ali radiallahu anhu, those who jumped in the fire. How can they go to hellfire too after they gave up their lives? We say, did they give up their life for Allah?
No.
No, they did not. Why would you want Allah to reward them for it? If you do something, if you worked so hard in your life, not for Allah, then whoever you worked for, get your reward from them. Makes sense or not?
Yes.
If you work for me and you do a lot of work and good stuff, and then you go to somebody else and say, give me my reward. You say, why are you asking me? Go to the person you served. So those people who jumped in the fire thinking that Ali radiallahu anhu is God, astaghfirullah, let them get the reward from Ali radiallahu anhu. But Ali never told them to worship him. So that's why it is very dangerous.
In Syria, there was something like this, what you are saying about Hazrat Ali. They called themselves
The
Alawi.
Alawis. Yeah. Those are one of the extreme groups in sanctifying and consecrating Ali radiallahu anh, thinking that he is really God.
Nauzubillah.
Yeah, those are the government that's leading Syria today is, and they are considered to be a group of the Shia. But they are a little too extreme, because Shia don't believe Ali to be God, not to that extent.
Yeah,
But
no.
some of them do, and those are the Alawis. Yeah, and that's why the Iran helped them. They love each other. Okay, any question about 104 before we move on?
Sheikh, 3 words, Dalla, Yahsabun, and Yusinun, and the meanings of them, these 3 words.
Dalla, of course, dalal, misguidance. Dalla sa'yuhum, they were seeking something and they were misguided when they were seeking it. And that's what explains, you can't just seek something without knowing what you're doing. Like this guy, he saw a long line, people standing in a long line at a booth. He stood with them. He didn't know why, because he said there's a lot of people here, there has to be something good. And then it turned out to be, those are the people who were accused of assassinating the Khalifa. And they were about to be executed. And he stood with them. Imagine. So who is to blame in this situation? You can't just follow the majority thinking this is the right thing. That's not right. So Dalla, misguided. They were seeking something without knowledge. They were misguided. Yahsabuna, they thought. Yuhsinuna, they were doing good. Ihsan. So the actual meaning of the ayah, the worst of people who do deeds, they try, are those who are seeking something without knowledge, while being misguided, thinking, and they have this strong belief that we're doing good actually. We're doing ihsan. All this work is something that is good. So this is the worst. Because again, they lost the dunya and the akhirah. They didn't even enjoy the dunya. At least somebody enjoyed his dunya. This did not enjoy the dunya and will go to hellfire in the akhirah.
Jazakallah khairan. Thank you. Thank you.
وإياكم. Any other questions before we move on? Inshallah.
Sheikh, what happened to the guy who was online?
Actually, it's a funny story. This guy, his name was Ash'ab, and he was known for being very stingy and greedy. So anytime he hears that there is some kind of banquet or dinner, he just goes there and uninvited. And he just invites himself. And he was famous. So some people were conspiring against the Khalifa. So the guards caught them and they lined them up. So he saw the big line in front of the castle of the Khalifa. He said, there has to be a banquet inside. And he stood in the line. So when the Khalifa, of course, he was interrogating each one of them and deciding, is he guilty or not? Until this guy, his turn came and he came inside. There was no food, no dinner. Actually, there was a guy with a sword in his hand. This is exactly ضل سعيهم في الحياة الدنيا وهم يحسبون أنهم يحسنون صنعا. So the Khalifa asked him, he said, what are you conspiring against me about? What did I do to you? He said, I thought there was dinner here. So the Khalifa asked him, what's your name? He said, my name is Ash'ab. You know, and he was famous. The Khalifa said, let him go. I know this guy. He's famous that he's always in every banquet, every dinner, he will be there.
He was lucky enough.
So that bad reputation saved him. So what we learn is just because you see a long line, that doesn't mean they're giving up free stuff. Not always.
Thank you, Jack.
You're welcome. Okay. Ayah number 105. أولئك الذين كفروا بآيات ربهم ولقائه فحبطت أعمالهم. So those people whom they have been chasing after this false belief, they did not believe in the ayat of Allah. And this explains how do we not feel bad for those people who dedicated their lives for a purpose and it turned out to be a wrong belief. Allah saying there is ayat, signs for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala around us. You see signs all over the place. When you choose to ignore them, it's your fault. It's your choice. When somebody says, I don't believe God exists, or somebody worships the cow or worships whatever, they have intentionally chosen to neglect the ayat of Allah around them. When you ask somebody who created this universe, they cannot say the cow. They cannot say nothing. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is explaining to us, don't feel bad for those people, because again, ayah number 104 is so scary and it can make you feel bad. This person dedicated all of his life chasing after something wrong, and then he will find out that it was wrong on the day of judgment and he will go to hellfire. He lost dunya and akhirah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying it is because they chose to deny all the ayat around them. These ayat, these proofs, these signs are there to tell them that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is there. فَحَبِطَتْ أَعْمَالُهُمْ. Habita is an interesting word. Habita is actually inflation. When something becomes so big, but it is a bubble. It has no value. Alhamdulillah. It has no value. This is the word habitat a'maluhum. Their deeds, they thought that was big, even though it was just like a bubble. It will burst and it will have no weight to it. It's empty from the inside. From the outside, you think it's big, but from the inside, is nothing. So this is حبطت أعمالهم. The bottom line here, that we want to summarize what we said today in just a few words, inshallah. Before you choose any belief in your life and you dedicate everything you have for this, you have to get the proper knowledge. Muslim or not Muslim. There are so many Muslims today do acts of shirk and they think that they are doing the right thing. They go to graves and they go to peers and they go to people they think they can be their wali and their protector other than Allah. And Allah is clearly saying they will be punished on the day of judgment. And those people, they have this strong belief, but that strong belief and confidence is based on no knowledge. The main thing about Surah al-Kahf is to get the proper knowledge.